Hey y'all, happy Saturday. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Taylor. I am a personal trainer in Texas, and majority of my videos are based around fitness, nutrition, the occasional clothing haul, and the occasional vlog. I wanted to spend this cozy Saturday with you guys and tell you about the 5 things that I would have done differently when planning my wedding. If you haven't been following my journey, recently I just got married in March of this year, and it was the most magical, fantastic day of my life. I relive it all the time, and it is so awesome to be married. It is so much fun. With that being said, there are things that I didn't do as a traditional bride that a lot of people do for their weddings to make their weddings go as planned. But for any of the non-traditional brides out there that aren't really sure what to do or how to plan or how to start planning, I wanted to kind of give a little bit of insight as to what I would have done differently after having my wedding day. Let's get into it. So a little backstory, Sean had proposed to me in Mexico, Puerto Vallarta to be specific, and it was absolutely beautiful. I'd never been to Puerto Vallarta before. I highly recommend that you go. It is so magical to begin with. The beach and the water is beautiful, and to be proposed to on a rooftop just overlooking the ocean, it was amazing. It was amazing. But I remember coming back home and just diving right into wedding planning. And I know I was so excited, and you just want to start wedding planning and pinning everything on your Pinterest board and going to Hobby Lobby and looking at the wedding aisle and just doing all of these things immediately right after you get engaged. And Sean and I did have a 9-month engagement, which was a perfect amount of time to really get things in the works, but still have enough time to figure out exactly how we wanted our wedding. But with that being said, if I could go back, I definitely would have come home from Mexico, really soaked in this special time in our relationship and in our lives. And I wish we would have just kind of paraded being newly engaged around a little bit more and really enjoyed it and had, you know, celebratory date nights. And I just wish we would have done certain special things to really soak in that moment of being engaged and not just jumping right into wedding planning, which is really hard to do. But if I could go back, I definitely wish that we would have just paraded around my engagement ring just a little bit and then started wedding planning. The second thing that I would have done differently when planning my wedding would have been to not jump the gun on decisions, no matter how excited I was about potential decisions for our wedding, and go and tell all of our friends and family. This is because we ended up getting married in Florida. That was a dream, a Texas girl dream. And I really just wanted to get married on the beach. I wanted to get away from where I grew up and just have a destination wedding, and it just was incredible. But I definitely would say that I got super excited about looking at venues online and looking at the different destinations and the different options. And I would just get so excited. And before we had anything written in writing, anything set in stone, you know, we hadn't even had quotes sent to us from caterers or hotels that we were looking at or anything, I would go and immediately call my friends and my family, and I would get so excited and send them links to these resorts and these wedding venues in Florida. And it caused a lot of unnecessary stress to a lot of people around me, because I was basically throwing them ideas and getting so excited about potential venues, but then I didn't think about, okay, well, maybe they can't afford this, or maybe, you know, maybe I need to give them, you know, enough time and enough empathy to be able to say, hey, look, this is where it's going to be. You know, here is your timeline to be able to save up for flying to our destination wedding. But instead, I was just so excited to tell everybody where we were thinking about getting married, and it caused so much unnecessary stress. So my biggest point to you, as excited as you will be, try to not tell anybody your plans until it is set in stone. Trust me. On to the next. The third thing that I would have changed is having the mindset that everything is negotiable. And by this, I mean florists are negotiable, venues are negotiable. Sometimes working with a chef or your catering service is negotiable. So I was so quick to just agreeing to the first decision that I saw. Let's say, for example, we were talking to a hotel in Florida and we were looking at using their banquet rooms for our ceremony and our reception. Then, you know, they would send us a proposal and I would just look over it, and I didn't have super high expectations. I would just say, yep, that looks great, like whatever, let's do it. And honestly, we didn't even take the time to go out to Florida to see any venue. It was all online, which is fine with me. That's just kind of how I roll, just go with the flow. But that put me in a tough situation because I didn't really work on the best way to go about our wedding financially. And by this, I mean, I definitely just didn't want to haggle with anybody. Luckily, I had my family and my husband to say, Taylor, look, we can't just say yes to everything. We have to be very strategic about this. Almost everything is negotiable. So call all of your hairstylists, call all of your makeup artists, call tons of venues, make sure that you are getting the best rates possible because they are out there. Don't be like me and just say yes to everything before you know that you can save a buck here and there. Fourth thing. Okay, so if you have seen my getting ready with me for my wedding day, the vlog about seeing our venue for the first time, any of my wedding vlogs, I don't ever talk about a wedding planner, and that's because I did not have a wedding planner. I have an amazing sister who plans events for a living, and that's definitely her expertise. I did not think at the time that I needed to hire a wedding planner because she had it all handled. That's what she does for a living, and she did an amazing job on her wedding day. I definitely would hire somebody that is not family. If I could go back, I would have wanted my sister to really enjoy our wedding day and not have to worry about making sure that we're going according to plan. And I wish I would have allowed her to not be working while she was on vacation, and I wish I would have just allowed her to just enjoy our wedding and hire somebody else to help us out and make sure, even if it was a day of planner. I just really wish that I would have done that differently. Also, my stepdad, he part-time DJs, and we used him to be the entertainment. That didn't go as planned either because he was having so much fun. I felt like the music wasn't as taken care of as it should have been, and I just wish I would have given all of my family a chance to step away from what they do, either as a hobby or as their everyday job. I wish I would have just had them come to our wedding and enjoy everything. Honestly, Sean, my husband's uncle, you know, he was so sweet and has this amazing Canon camera, and even though we had a photographer and videographer, his uncle wanted to go around and make sure that he was capturing candid pictures, which I'm so glad he did. But after our wedding, I just felt so bad because some of our family members weren't able to enjoy the wedding the way that they should have been. So my advice to you on this is to, even though your family members may be amazing at entertainment or, you know, wedding planning, just give them the day off, give them the night off, and hire somebody else to do it so everybody can enjoy your wedding with you. All right, so the fifth and final thing that I would have done differently at my wedding is that I would have I'm sorry, this one's funny. So I definitely think that making any decisions the day before your wedding or the morning of, in my case, towards anything, your reception, your ceremony, just don't do it. Do not do it, because sometimes your rash decisions will not be as beautiful in person as what you may think. So with that being said, the morning of my wedding, I thought, hey, let me text the ordained minister and ask him to put in a section in his speech where Sean and I would do a sand unity, and basically meaning that I'm not really sure what it's called, and see, I really shouldn't even have thrown this in my wedding, but for the ceremony, I wanted to have a little table off to the side of the altar, and I wanted to have a beautiful little bottle. We got it at Hobby Lobby the day of, basically. Sean and I had 2 containers of sand, and we were just going to pour the sand into the same bottle and be able to bring that home, put it on our mantle, and it would just be a very nice sentimental piece to our home that we made on our wedding day. It sounded great. I've seen it done on Pinterest. I've seen it done in YouTube videos. I thought it was going to be a great idea, and I didn't know why I didn't think of it before the day of my wedding. So fast forward to our ceremony. I don't even know what table we found. I think it was just a random bar stool. We put the glass bottle that all the sand was going to go into on a bar stool. Because this was such a last minute decision, our funnel was a piece of paper that I pulled out of a notebook that I was traveling with. And the sand doesn't even go into the bottle right. So our poor ordained minister is having to sit there and try to make everybody feel distracted from this sand that will not fall from the paper funnel into the bottle. It may not be funny to you, but it was just, it looked so beautiful in my head. And the funnel, I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Luckily, the sand looks absolutely beautiful, and it's in our home. We love looking at it, and our ordained minister was so sweet. After the ceremony, he made sure to pour both bottles of sand that Sean and I were holding into the one glass bottle and make it look beautiful. But I can only imagine our wedding guests were probably just sitting there cracking up, watching just a fail happen in the middle of our ceremony. So I just thought that that was funny. So my advice to you would be, do not make any rash or additional decisions at least 2 days before you walk down that aisle. I promise you, just leave it be, because it may not turn out the way that you think it will. So, oh, that was funny. All in all, my wedding was absolutely incredible, a complete fairy tale, exactly what I wanted, and hopefully I will have our actual wedding video filmed by our videographer very shortly, and hopefully I'll be able to share that with you guys. I hope that y'all have an amazing Memorial Day weekend. Go do something that makes you feel good, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Taylor Tots.
Before I'm too invested, I should probably ask you all my questions.